This is who can get in second, though.
Oh, dang it.
I wasn't paying
That's right.
attention to know who that was.
That was me, right?
I think that was the
I
mayor.
think my children would call that a snail race. Like, actually, it's a snail race, and then whoever's last wins, right? So there you
I'm pretty sure I was second.
go.
I just don't have a lot of energy around that.
We were racing.
No. We were racing.
1, 2,
Oh,
3,
okay.
4, 5, 6. I think we're all back.
Why don't I
So
see Dennis? There he is.
City Attorney Kelly, will you please report on the executive session for us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, as noted on the meeting agenda, the executive session was for the purpose of consideration of real property acquisitions and dispositions. And in that regard, the Council did consider real property acquisitions and dispositions. No follow-up is requested at this time.
Thank you. That takes us to our City Attorney's report. City Attorney Kelly?
Thank you. And I have no report this evening.
Thank you. That takes us to council committee reports. Any committee reports this evening? If you have a committee report, please raise your hand. So I'll report on Mayors and Commissioners Coalition. Northwest Mayors and Commissioners Coalition met and we introduced Claire Levy, the new county commissioner, is going to serve on that with us. So that was exciting. Elise Jones had served on there for a number of years and she's of course been termed out. And so we have Claire now and we had a good conversation. And one thing came up that we will circulate the policy statement for that group to all of the councils. And so I'll ask City Manager Balser or Deputy Manager Davis to please circulate that policy statement to the council. You all reviewed it a year ago. Nothing has changed on the policy statement, but we just committed that we would keep sending it out so everybody knew what the policies that the group weighs in on is, largely transportation related policies around completion of Northwest Rail, completion of the Highway 7 project, and the other NAMS priorities, which includes Highway 42, and then supporting one another on 119 and things like that. So that will get circulated to everybody. And the Metro Mayor's Caucus, the names are so similar to each other, I have to read them each time. We've continued to meet around COVID and have our weekly and bi-weekly meetings around supporting each other and what's going on with that. We're meeting for our retreat later this week. And the caucus has asked us to weigh in on a number of legislative policies, and they do it in a sort of, I don't know, less than ideal way because there's so many members. They send out a survey and ask if you support, object, or abstain to all of these different positions. So I took our city council policy document and I laid it next to those questions and I tried my best to support the policies that we support, abstain on the things that we've not taken a position on, and object to the things we would object to based on our policy statement. But I gotta tell you, sometimes it was really hard because the wording, they put so many words in there, like they were not necessarily well thought out, streamlined statements that you would be like agreeing with the first half of the statement based on ours. And then you'd get to the second half of the statement and you'd be like, oh, but we don't support that. So I did my very best. And when we go to the meeting later this week, I'll try to make sure I articulate our city's positions so that we can get the wording clarified and cleaned up there. And there's just some really interesting policies from the different cities around the region. And so like one conversation that always comes up is around construction defects litigation, and the group loves to talk about that. And the way they worded that position, which is not in our city council policy, but the way they worded that position was that they wanted us to take a position to oppose. It was like three opposes in a row. So you really had to read it.
Triple negative.
Yeah, triple negative. Yeah, but it was basically saying that there have been some cracks put into the construction's defects law that they are supportive of. It's just very hard because in Superior, the homeowners did have to actually litigate against the contractor who built the homes because many of the foundations failed very shortly after they were built. And so, you do want to protect homeowners. And then on the other hand, the reasons why some cities are going after this and wanting there to be defective construction is because they feel like it's a barrier for builders to be able to build entry-level units, because they have to build quality units, so they don't think they can build entry-level units. So it's an ongoing debate. I anticipate that getting a lot of our time this week, and I'll let you know how it goes. Other updates from members? Councilmember Dickinson.
The EVC Economic Vitality Committee met last Friday. I thought it was a very productive meeting and excited to bring forward to all of council some recommendations on the future of the EVC and of Brad, our current Business Retention and Development Committee. And so, yeah, I hope you all study that and be up for that debate on how to best engage our business community. But that was a big conversation. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other committee reports this evening from folks? All right, seeing none. I think that's the last thing on our agenda. It is, so we are adjourned. See you in a couple weeks. Thanks, everyone.